Yeah. Welcome to Woodworking Noobie, where every step is a crafting learning curve. Not just for me, but hopefully for you too. I'm Lukas, and 5 months ago I dove into this new hobby with absolutely no prior knowledge about wood and its intricate craft. I'm here to learn and document this exciting adventure. It would mean a world to me if I could grow this channel. Please hit that subscribe button and help me do it. For my very first video I wanted to start from scratch, exactly to show you how I built my first workbench and what tools I've chosen for it. I tried to build stuff before and it was madness. I didn't have proper place, just had a couple of tools but they were not fitted for the purpose. And there was more frustration than fun for my new hobby. My place is Tucker Garage and I wanted the bench to be multifunctional, mobile and as small as possible. I wanted it to contain the table saw with an outfit table, a miter saw, a mounted plate with a router, some sort of dust collection and a place for storing my smaller tools. Based on inspirations from YouTube, I created my own project. I laid it out in Adobe Illustrator and did a number of drawings to plan where to put my functional elements. I figured out that the best place for my table saw would be on the left, then continuing with the outfit table. Then I would make a proper miter station and finished it with the router table. I wanted to have 2 closed spaces on sides to have place for a table saw and its elements underneath, and on the right, below the router, I wanted to fit an old shop vacuum I used when we built our house and a 20-liter compressor. In the middle, I wanted to mount shelf runners and place my tools boxes there. I created the frame from double 2x4s, glued and screwed together, cut and mounted the bottom from the OSB and continued to finish back, one side and inner walls with it too. It was time to mount the table saw. I decided to buy the DeWalt DWE7485 as it was recommended as the cheapest but precise enough to handle woodworking projects. I measured the correct height and built a small shelf to put the table saw on it. As for the miter saw, I already had a Parkside PZKS 1500 that I bought 5 years ago and never used it. I've measured the correct depth to flush it with the table. Now was the moment to finish everything with the top. I bought a couple of simplest spruce floorboards. I glued them together and then with a jigsaw I cut the place for my miter saw. The same process with the 2 pieces to match them with my table saw. I sanded everything and finished it with the polyurethane varnish. It was okay, but it was not perfectly flat. At that moment I didn't have tools to make it flatter. That's why for the router table I chose the white furniture board. It is perfectly flat. I cut it to size, I mounted it to the frame, and that's the router table. If I were making it now, I would use the furniture board for the whole top. Not only it is perfectly flat, it's also tougher than the wood I chose. For my router I chose Bosch POF 1200 AE, and it was the first time I used such a tool. First I flash trimmed the top around glued strips of wood and then applied a small radius to the edges. I found online info how to modify my router to have a screw from the top to adjust height of the spindle, so I did it. Next, I marked the place for the router plate I ordered from AliExpress and created a jig from scraps of wood to cut a recess to flush it with the top. Now was the time to mount drawers to my 2 boxes. I cut the OSB to the size. Then with a jigsaw I cut the holes for the box small legs so that they fit the shelf, and then when I grab the handle of the box, the whole drawer will pull out. For a front finish I decided to use white MDF, and at the end I screwed retractable caster wheels so I could easily move the bench to a place I need. I installed a retractable hose for the compressor and a roll of paper to protect the tops when gluing up. An integral part of the table is what I have on the wall, a board with the most frequently used tools and a charging station for battery devices, turned on every day for 30 minutes to recharge the batteries or for longer after intensive work. What did I learn from this project? Planning ahead gives you a huge advantage. I adjusted the project on paper many times. So before I made first cuts, I really had an idea of how this will work and look like. Having proper tools for the job is essential. I managed to do it with a circle or so, but the quality of cuts, which luckily is hidden, was not perfect. It is a dangerous and difficult tool. I took a number of tests trying to learn how to operate it. I ruined most of them. When I attempted the final pass, everything looked smooth until I tore out huge bits of wood in several places. I used a wood filler to deal with that. It doesn't have to be pretty. This is a workbench, you know. But building experience and confidence with this tool is essential before I move on to other projects. I hope you enjoyed my very first video. It was not perfect, I know. I didn't have footage from the build, but for the next videos I will build step by step. So stay tuned and thank you very much.